Okay, there's a lot going on. It's difficult to just say one emotion. Uneasiness. Anger is there as well for me. I'm a citizen of the world. I follow everything very deeply. Uncertainty. Fear. Concern. Fear is a big one. When COVID hit, everything changed. And it frightens me, makes me so afraid. I'm afraid, I'm disheartened. I'm just hardened. It's a heightened time of stress, you know? Potentially not having a job, the potential of illness. Because my parents are older, you know, they might catch it. And I wouldn't be able to go home. I can't go anywhere. Confined to my house. Stress. Hope is definitely another big one. It can be extremely depressing. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night in kind of a global panic. I call it my global anxiety moment. So, you know, I'm frightened, but hopeful. Having global anxiety moments means you have to temper that with hope. I see young people like you who are not going to take this all lying down, you know? I see very intelligent young people coming up in the world who are just saying that enough is enough. And they're going to do something about it. Shaming their elders for making the world into such a disaster. I feel like, you know, emotionally, between being stuck in and sort of seeing all that's going on in the world, you feel a lot of frustration. You feel kind of hemmed in. We are always working on raising issues and discussing, working on a roadmap for the future. It's a slow road. We've stated our intent. We know we're not perfect, but now we're trying to work out the roadmap for the future, that we get to be more equitable, more diverse, and a more inclusive institution. I don't particularly buy it personally. I think of this year as being roughly analogous to 1968, which I was a kid at the time when, you know, it felt like things were coming apart at the seams in the country. Even as a little kid back then, I was aware of sort of the generational clash and the assassination of Robert Kennedy and Martin Luther King and the riots, you know. You have to have hope. My niece is severely schizophrenic. Like, she has a deep mental health issue. And it's really difficult for her. And she is the strongest person that I know. And she always has hope, no matter how bad her day is. And she has some really bad days. She always has hope. Without hope, there is nothing. I'm really interested to see what artists are doing in response to the pandemic and all the social justice issues. I make my living wage 100% as an artist. I'm not an artist. I don't consider myself to be an artist. I grew up. I took the required art classes in high school. I didn't really study it. I didn't see it as something that I was talented at. I still don't. My relationship with art has kind of been one of envy. You know, I would shrivel up into a little dried up pea if I couldn't do art. To me, art is like breathing. It's part of what makes me me. It keeps me alive. It's a welcome diversion from everyday life. It can reduce tension. Like creating art can reduce tension, and it gives physiological and psychological benefits. But also, it's an important medium to get messages out there. It can be used as a mechanism of social commentary, escape mechanism, a progressive medium. Music has always been a part of my life. My dad would often play songs on his guitar, and he would sing songs for my sister and I, so I've always found music to kind of be a mood lifter and a sort of catharsis, because I sing along rather loudly generally. You know, music is something that makes us human beings. Think about history. Generations of humans, people have always made music in one form or another. Whether it be hitting a rock on a stick, or whether it be creating instruments to play and singing with them, the different rituals or different parades or art forms. Through quarantine and stuff, music could be the one place where I could find solace and feel like I'm not alone, if that makes sense. I would sit through and listen to an entire album when I felt super lonely, or when I felt like I wasn't in a position to do any schoolwork or be productive at all. I would just lie down outside at night under the stars and just listen to an album that once held super great significance to me. I use it as a coping mechanism. If I saw something in the news and I felt sad or anything, I might like go and play Sound of Silence on the ukulele, or I might sing a couple different songs, or if I want to make myself feel happy, I might go sing a Broadway song, or I might sing some sort of fun pop song or something to boost my energy. I'm kind of able to experience sensation by listening to music and listening to different genres and different places and different contexts. They help me process what's going on in the world, because there's just no productive way for me to do that without music. I was either 8 or 9 years old, and I joined this production of The Wizard of Oz. And I remember we were in the green room, and I had a little sketchbook, and I was drawing and just being able to do a show with other people and being able to sing and dance and have a good time. I have a sketchbook, and sometimes when I feel mad or upset at anything in particular, during COVID, it's kind of all the things that's happening in the world. I just draw anything I can think of. Any things I just need to get out of my head, just to cope with it, I guess. You experiment. You generate hundreds of thousands of images, and you're constantly experimenting, and you're waiting to see what strikes you. My process is much more, I'm searching for things that trigger art. You know, I've started taking to layering multiple images together, and they create very dense images that kind of are claustrophobic. And it's almost like being lost in a world. Looking at it from the outside, you would probably say that that's the impact of the current psychological state and the state of the world at work. I think about how people felt about art prior to Van Gogh and Impressionists, and that kind of got turned on its head. You know, the idea that you weren't trying to create an image of physical reality so that you could interpret reality. People are complicated. They have to express themselves in many different ways. I've done work on the Holocaust. I've done work on mental illness. I've done work on rape. I've done work on madness, being bereft after the death of someone. Every day, I get to paint with my hands and splash all of my frustrations and my deep inner chaos onto the canvas. I get to work with colors and patterns and make beautiful things that people desire. The people who buy my work know that they're getting the best part of me, full of life and beauty and hope. A welcome diversion. It's an escape mechanism, a progressive medium. It keeps me alive. It keeps me alive.